Screenless. Lillie Spibey, award-winning professional photographer and tutor to all, even strange composer types. Welcome to Creative Cuppa.
Thanks for having me. It's exciting.
So, full disclosure, you helped me to understand the exposure triangle a little while ago.
We might need to explain that a bit further, Gareth.
Well, okay. Definitely need more practice. It's a really nice day, actually, today, so I'm going to take the camera out when I walk the dog.
Absolutely.
But you teach in a very practical way, which helped me understand, certainly. But let's go back. Mm-hmm. How did you get into photography in the first place?
I suppose when I was a teenager. My father and grandfather were really into taking photographs. I always had cameras around, and that was back in the days of film. And my dad gave me his camera and said, you can take a couple pictures, but only a couple, at that point, because it was so valuable in terms of the amount of frames that you had and the cost. So I caught the bug and really got into it. And I was really lucky, the secondary school that I was in, so I was in the States, so it was high school, we had a darkroom. And so I just spent all my time learning about the scientific side and then learning about the artistic side. And I just really caught it and spent the majority of my days and nights in the dark with lots of chemicals, developing film and making prints. So I loved it. Yeah.
So you've travelled far, haven't you? Because you are originally from Texas.
I am.
Is that right?
I'm a Texan. Yeah.
And then you went to college in New York.
Yeah. I went to university in New York.
Wow.
Upstate New York. I tried to get as far away as possible. Try to go somewhere with seasons.
And now you've gone even further.
Now I've gone even further. Yeah, I'm not sure my mom is that impressed with me, but she has interesting places to visit as a result.
So you went through high school. Mm-hmm. And
photography, yep.
What happened then?
I decided I really liked photography, and so I went to university and studied photography. So I studied photojournalism, and so I did half of my degree in photography and half of it in journalism, and then graduated and spent majority of my time really in Europe, mainly in Italy, because I'd done a couple semesters abroad over there and really enjoyed it. And so then started working there, and then did some work in Eastern Europe, photographing Montenegro, mainly the coastlines there. And I did some stuff for Brat Guides, because they were just re-releasing all of their new guides for that area. And then, eventually settled in the UK. My husband's English, and we met in Italy. So we eventually moved back to the UK after it all.
So you've been through college, you've been to Italy, you've become a professional photographer. Mm. What kinds of photos are you really drawn to? Did you fill a brief and think, oh, I really like that kind of photo? Or naturally, did you have favourite kinds of photos?
I suppose because I've always been more interested in the documentary sense, so recording what's in front of me. And I suppose because I was trained on film, you didn't have the ability that digital has to perhaps recreate fictional things as easily. So it was much more kind of what's in front of you is what you record and what you show. And
that's something that you really drilled into us on the course, actually, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And it really made a lot of sense. Why spend all that time fixing a photo afterwards when you can
get it right in camera?
The photo,
and I suppose that's the approach with digital that is, I find, especially from a beginner's point of view, for teaching a beginner, is that if I can show you what you can do in camera, and I can show you photographs that have only been achieved that way, then that makes you feel more grounded and not kind of out of your depths, like what was done afterwards and what was done in post-production, which I hope most people consider now, because most images that you see that are non-news related are completely and utterly photoshopped.
I'd like to talk a little bit about your move into teaching.
Okay.
What made you move from doing commercial things for people like the Brad Guides and Vogue and GQ?
Yeah, and I was working for newspapers, yeah.
What made you move into a more tutory role? And did you see something in yourself? Did something happen one day where you thought, oh, I'm good at this?
I suppose it was slow. On shoots, I'd quite often have people ask me how certain things were done or how I got that photograph, or, someone pull me aside and say, oh, I've just got a new camera. Can you tell me what I should do with this? And I'd be like, oh, of course. Yeah, try this. And it was that immediate connection that you have. And I suppose also photographing people. And I really like to photograph people. So it's that connection with someone that's shared. And that's when you get the right shot, is when you can connect with them. And so I found that with teaching, giving them the information that then made it click.
Yeah.
Literally, was also a really nice connection as well. And I really enjoy photography in all ways. So to be able to photograph and then share it with others, and then for them to get the same hit, is fantastic, no matter the age. So from kids up to all ages. Yeah.
I think on the course I went on, you had some teenagers coming in afterwards.
Yes, I had my Duke of Edinburgh kids, all 15 of them, yes.
Wow. They must really soak it up. But, they must be good budding photographers at that age. Or...
Yeah, the approach is totally different from adults. They don't have any hesitation with electronics. They just go into it. And it's more so me almost slowing them down, trying to hold them back and say, this is what this does. So just spend some time on this rather than 18 buttons further. So, and then with adults, it's the opposite way. It's kind of try this, you can push this. This really works. So, but, it's two different approaches. But yeah, no, it's nice. I like both sides of it. And they teach me a lot. I'm always trying to ask them I like watching their approach, because obviously the age difference, it's a totally different way. So I learn from them too.
Yeah. And you also do commercial shoots still? I
still work probably 60% as a photographer, 40%. It changes seasonally. I suppose right now it's very quiet in terms of shooting.
Yeah. So what are you doing now to adjust and...
lack of business, to fill in the gaps.
Well, everyone's feeling it really, aren't they?
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. It's a very different time. So I've been quite lucky, really. We, with my kids and teens teaching business, Sharp Shots, we 2 years ago had created online courses. And so I'd pre-recorded information, written booklets, worksheets, and modules, and released them. So that's doing really well for us, because it's something now that the kids can do at home really easily. And then I'm also taking all of the courses that we can run in a garden or home area and doing webinars for teenagers to then learn. So kind of bringing it down.
Oh, wow. So focused in on spaces that the kids have already. Yeah. That's fantastic.
Yes. So things like learning how to photograph action. Action can be done inside, action can be done outside. Photographing spring, that you can easily pick a couple flowers and bring them inside on your walk, and then I can teach you then, or you can do it out in your garden. And so just kind of...
I still have my pink card.
Yeah.
Yes.
Those cards are fantastic. I love them. I'm glad you do too.
But yes, we went outside and photographed cyclists and traffic and things, didn't we?
Yeah, and it's showing you those things that you might not understand how to do if you just went out with a camera and just took some shots. You can play with the settings, but you wouldn't necessarily know what situation to perhaps use them in.
Yeah.
So, and with my adults, I don't know if you'd seen on my email that I'd sent out, I'm doing a happy hour, photography happy hour webinar. So kind of like a much more sociable thing. But then it's kind of like we're going to look at a certain photographer, learn about them, and then you have something to do the following week. So very sociable.
Okay. So trying to recreate something that they might have done, these photographers?
Yeah.
Similar settings?
Yeah. Yes, similar settings, or just keeping their style in mind. So, but then again, bringing it down to something that you can do in the garden or in the house, but keeping an element of creativity and getting your camera out.
So can anyone join these webinars?
Yeah, the photography happy hour. Yes, generally for adults. Yeah, these are my my adult crew. But yes, and so I'm doing that every Friday night, and every Friday night is a different kind of theme or photographer that we're going to look at.
Okay,
so.
Maybe I can put a link in the show notes for you.
Oh yeah, that'd be great. Yeah.
Speaking of which, where can people find you online?
So they can head to my website. It's Lillie Spibey Photography. My last name is not the easiest to spell. Spibey. But yeah, they can find me that way.
Fantastic. Okay, I'll put that in the show notes as well. But great. For now, Lillie Spibey, thank you for joining me for a cuppa.
Thank you very much for having me. It's been great.